fruit only every day, drink smoothies and juice, I would be bouncing off the walls, because when I do that, it is unreal how good I feel. But I just have not developed the discipline. It's just so hard not to eat anything else at all whatsoever, because I'm falling in love with raw vegan food. And the raw vegan food doesn't necessarily hurt me, but it just seems to slow me down a little bit compared to when I'm on that it just seems like my body enjoys having fruit only, because it's like, oh wow, I don't have to work. Doesn't hardly take any energy. You know what I mean? And then having a couple of smoothies kind of makes me have the substance. And then when you're drinking, 100 ounces of juice a day, you're getting a lot of nutrients. You know what I mean? So I have to really remind myself: do I want to have the most energy and feel the best, or? But like, I had some raw vegan food yesterday, and I feel a little more sluggish today than when I don't. You know what I mean? It just weighs me down just a little bit more in my body. I'm only 128 pounds, and so right now, anything that makes my body do any extra work just takes away a little bit of my energy. You know what I'm saying? So, but I feel good overall, and thank God, no fluid problems now for over a month. That's, my God. If you've ever, that fluid problem was a beast, man. Oh my God, it was terrible. I've never experienced anything like that. So to be past that is a miracle in and of itself.
So your kidneys are working.
Yes, they work very well. I pee often.
That's good. That's good.
Oh my God, I swear I've got the route to the bathroom down better than any route in the house. In fact, I think my footprints are implanted on the path from the bed to the urinal in my bathroom. Yeah, it's fun just to talk.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is. And lots of people need to hear you and your story. Well, we are here with Live Food Detox, and we have Ryan Luelf here with us. Super excited to hear what's going on in life right now for Ryan as he is kicking this cancer beast. So we want to hear about your story and what's been going on lately, your route to what you've chosen to do right now to help heal your body.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on. I like to tell everyone ahead of time that I don't claim to have it all figured out or have all the answers. Not that I think anybody does, but my heart and my come from is one of, I want to share today to share. It's not to try to convince anyone of anything necessarily. I don't have any particular agenda. It's to give you some insight as to things that I've learned in the last, 6 months since I got diagnosed originally, and things that I would do a little differently now that I've experienced them, kind of what my journey has been like, and what I feel like are things that have served me well and have helped me to, I guess, just handle the whole situation. Anyone that's dealt with any type of disease, I don't want to just say, what we call cancer and isolate that. There's people that deal with Lyme and autoimmune and all kinds of things that, man, it doesn't just impact you physically, the impacts on your family and your finances, your children, your relationships, your marriage, your eating habits. This is this is something that comes in and it just causes overhaul and evaluation on a total basis. And you really don't have a whole lot of option. You don't get a lot of warning, and it doesn't come with a manual on how to do it and what best practices are. And God forbid you get on the internet, you only get 87 million opinions, and and then you're even more overwhelmed and confused.
Absolutely.
And we all know confused minds do nothing. And at some point, you have to just cut through the noise and figure out, how you're going to be led and what's going to be your guiding force for making decisions. And you got to take some action, and you got to just trust that what you're doing will work. And then you got to be open that if it doesn't, well, just move to the next one and don't have any regrets, or don't beat yourself up, or don't let people, people make comments to me like, well, I thought the last thing that you were doing was gonna work, and you were gonna be cured. Why do you need, more funds now? And I just want to say, well, listen here, bud. Okay, I mean, do you have stage 4 cancer? I mean, if I didn't think it was going to work, I wouldn't have tried it in the first place, and it didn't work. So should I just give up and throw in the towel now and go, well, I guess I'll just wait till I'm in my box in the grave? I mean, you know what I mean? People are just stupid. And I don't mean to be rude, but it's like, unless you have dealt with this with a very close family member that you live with, or you've dealt with it yourself, really people should just keep their mouth shut, because they have no effing clue. None. Zero, zilch, nada. They can act like they understand, they don't. And it would just best for them and all of us dealing with it, they can just observe from the sidelines. And unless they want to send some money or they want to be kind, then there's really no reason for them to make any comments. There's just not. And it's just absurd for anyone to think that they would know best, especially if they haven't even been down this path. And even if they had, then who's to say there's one path that works exactly for each and every person? I mean, I'm reading a book right now called Radical Remission. This lady studied 1,000 people over a 10-year period who are now have been cancer-free for 5 years or longer, all using alternative methods. She figured out that there were 9 common denominators, but they all had a little different version of how they went about it. But they all ended up getting to the same place, and they all got the same result. You know what I mean? And one of the key components was that every person who ultimately was free of the disease stayed true to themselves. In other words, they paid attention to their body. They paid attention to what they figured out worked for them. They found the path that finally triggered making it work and getting healing and seeing it go away. And then they stayed the course, even if that went against a book or somebody's recommendation or a doctor or a certain protocol or friend. I see people, they get locked into one protocol and then it won't work for 6 months, but they're so locked in on it, they don't even feel the freedom to make an adjustment. You know what I mean? I'm not locked into anything other than eradication of the disease and being in optimal health. And if I'm doing something and my body's saying, I don't like this ain't working, I don't owe anybody nothing, no explanation. I owe me and my family to go, okay, well, let's try something a little different. Who knows? The first 6 months to a year may just be complete trial and error. And you may end up investing a ton of money. But what's a life worth? What's money at the end of the day? Money is nothing. It's just a stupid piece of paper that people are letting get in the way of living their life. And I'll risk offending millions of people around the globe asking for help if I think there's a chance I can save my life and live, and the only thing that I need are a few funds. I mean, it's nothing. You know what I mean? I mean, those freaking professional athletes and stuff make what I need to go to my next treatment around the world, they make it in the first 7 minutes of a basketball game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you start putting things in perspective. There are people who have so much extra money, their accountant says, hey, if you don't give it away to some type of a cause or a person or whatever, you're going to pay it in taxes anyway. Well, I even have a tax deduction set up. So, I mean, my God, I'm going to make everybody aware, because I'm hoping I'm going to come across some of those people and they're going to read my story and they're going to go, well, I needed to give away $30,000 because I was going to lose it to Uncle Sam anyway. So, oh, wow, I love your video. Here you go. I mean, but most people, they are so worried about what people think, and they can't be a good receiver, and they don't think they're worthy. If anything, I am so grateful. I'm past all that. I am worthy. I'm a great receiver. I'll ask and ask and ask and ask, and then I'll ask you again. I mean, one friend, I've asked him like 12 times to donate, give money. He's never given. I asked him again the other day, and he said, I'll help you. Said, I'm thinking on mine, I wore your ass down. Anyway, I'm just being funny, but I'm just saying, you know, you have to understand psychology, you know? I mean, it's just the reality of it, you know? People are free to say no. I don't have any expectations, but because I give you the freedom to say no, I'm also giving people the freedom to say yes. Mm-hmm. And it's a beautiful thing. One of the other key components the lady came up with in the radical remission was that the people who healed had great social support. I'm telling you, nobody's got better social support than I do, man. Holy cow, it's incredible how many people love me and how many people reach out and just the things that I've done. So I'm sorry I got to rambling here and got maybe off base a little bit, but you know, we've been to Mexico twice. We've tried, you know, B17, Laetrile. We've done Coley's toxins. We've done Deandric cell therapy. I've been on the Gerson diet. I had to make some adjustments because the cooked food was clogging my lymphoma system and was actually adding to the fluid problem. When I went to the all fruit diet and raw vegan, that helped me not have a fluid problem. Maybe other people in their situation can handle the full Gerson protocol, and it was a good transition for me. But once that fluid problem came about, it wasn't until I went to raw vegan that I solved that. I had that issue for 2 months. I've done vitamin C infusions, hyperbaric, oxygen therapy. I can't do that right now because I have a catheter on my right side from when I had to drain my lung. I was draining my right lung once a day. Now, the lady came the other day to drain it. It had been a week and a half, and she only could drain like a half a liter. Like, it's not even hardly building up anymore. I haven't had to drain my left lung or my stomach in over a month. And I was draining 5 liters a week out of my stomach a month ago, and I was draining 2 or 3 liters a week out of my left lung, and I was draining my right lung a liter a day. I mean, it was nuts. Yeah, and I couldn't eat and couldn't drink and couldn't sleep, and it was like I was a 9-month, you know, pregnant woman. I mean, it was bad. I couldn't move. I couldn't dress myself. I was bedridden. I'm driving now, and even though, you know, I'm down to 128 pounds, I mean, I can move around, drive, go to my son's basketball games. I'm taking in 3,000 to 4,000 calories a day, but because I still have cancer and I still have that disease and that sludge and that junk, my body's not absorbing all the nutrients like it's supposed to because it's detoxing. So I do anywhere from 4 to 5 coffee enemas a day to detox my liver, and then I do 4 to 5 lemon water flush enemas right after that, and that detoxes my colon and flushes my bowels. And those are lifesavers for me because that's how I get the toxins and the kill off and get it out of my system. So, because when you're eating a lot of fruit, boy, it'll clean you out, man. I mean, whoo, baby. Yeah, it is.
Are you buying your coffee enemas or are you making them?
We buy organic coffee, Greg, and then we make the coffee here, and then I just make them and pour it in the bucket, you know, 32 ounces, and then I do them, yeah.
Are you ever leaving your bathroom?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in there 5 hours a day. To do a coffee enema and a water flush enema takes about, you know, an hour to do the whole process. So the days I get 5 in, I'm in there 5 hours. The other days, you know, if it's 4, it's 4 hours. You know, it is what it is. It's just part of where I'm at right now on the journey. thankfully, we have enough funds that we're able to survive without having to, we can't work. My wife can't work. We have 3 young kids, and we're totally enthralled in the protocol daily and focused on healing and getting better. And that's just where our life's at right now, and we've just tried to embrace that and not fight it.
Wow, that's a lot. When you think about what you're doing daily, I don't think most people have a clue that that's what goes on in a day for you.
Yeah, and I drink anywhere from 10 to 15 8-ounce juices a day. Hold on a second. Sorry, guys.
Oh, that's all right. My
My mother-in-law's helping out because my wife left today on a 5-day girlfriend retreat. I told her she had to go. She didn't have an option. She's been going hard for 6 months, and I just felt like, because we're getting ready to fly to the other side of the world here pretty soon for our next step, and I just felt like it was important that she get a real break, and she needs rejuvenated and refreshed. And so she's with some precious ladies, and she's going to just be able to detox herself, if you will, mentally and emotionally. And so the in-laws and the grandparents and the aunts and uncles are all helping with the kids, and we have a lady that's coming each day and she prepares all the juicing, because that takes about an hour and a half to get all the juices ready, because I drink 10 to 15 8-ounces a day. I drink pure apple juice and pure orange juice, so at least it's simple. And then she prepares all the coffee for 5 enemas and all the lemon juice for 5 enemas, so that all I have to do is pour them in the buckets each time. So we just paid her to come like 2 hours a day, and then the next day she comes, she does all those dishes from the day before, prepares it again, and that way it's real easy on me. I just grab a juice out of the fridge, drink it, pour my enemas, do them, and then I can stay on track. And then the kids are taken care of, and my wife's getting a break. So
Awesome.
Well, can we just kind of back up a little bit, because I don't know that everybody kind of knows your story.
Sure, we can.
Where things started for you when you were diagnosed, and what your, say your eating was before, and what got you to where you were, like, the research, and why did you choose what you chose to begin with in starting your protocol?
Yeah, so I'm 35 years old, got diagnosed with stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma in like the first week of October. I ate a standard American diet prior to my diagnosis. I literally ate fast food every day of my life. Big hamburger and fries, pizza, hot dogs, chips and salsa, tacos. I mean, those are main things I was eating almost daily. Lots of red meat, and very picky eater. No vegetables, little bit of fruit here and there, and really wasn't that conscious. Never had any medical history, my entire life, and got some swollen lymph nodes on my neck, but didn't think much of it, and then got these horrible headaches in September and started having night sweats, and that's what triggered getting me the MRIs. My dad's had brain cancer twice. Unfortunately, in fact, we just discovered it's come back for the 3rd time. So I had been doing a little bit of research last summer, and I had gotten tuned in to the Truth About Cancer, and I had watched their first documentary. I forgot what it's called. And it became pretty evident that chemotherapy and radiation didn't work. And I started kind of learning more about alternative therapy and juicing and changing your diet. My dad chose not to do radiation and chemo the 2nd time. And a few months later, I found out I was dealing with it. So my wife had been juicing on and off for years. So I just looked at her and said, what do I need to do? I know I need to make some changes. And she said, well, you need to start juicing. So before we even started doing a bunch of research, I started juicing, and I cut out the fast food and processed food and most sugar, and at least, started trying to eat better. Well, just by doing that in the first couple of weeks, I got rid of the headaches and I got rid of the night sweats and I got rid of the bone pain. So that just tells you how critical diet is. That was even before I was on the full Gerson protocol and long before I transitioned to the raw vegan diet. Then, as we talked to some other people who had chosen to go the alternative route, people we trusted that had been able to heal from the disease of some type of cancer, alternatively, they all recommended that in addition to the diet change that we consider going to a clinic in Mexico, and that they felt like these alternative therapies and treatments, just helped kill it off faster. So that's when we started doing homework, and a doctor friend of mine met one of the partners at Chipsa Hospital, and that's how I ultimately got connected to them. And we just felt a connection and felt like it was genuine, and did research and felt like their treatments would work. And so that's why we chose to go there. And then we had a really phenomenal experience in November. And I was doing really great. You wouldn't have even known I had cancer. I wasn't losing weight. I was healthy. Things were going awesome. I probably made a mistake and I did too much dental work in late November while I was down there. I would advise people to hold off on trying to do a bunch of dental work in the middle of your healing process, just because the body can't focus on too many things at once. So I think that was a setback for me. I had a mercury filling taken out and a root canal taken out, and that would have probably been okay, but I also thought I was doing so well that I had 4 wisdom teeth removed, and that was a major surgery, and that was stupid on my part, but I can't change it now. Anyway, that really set me back and hurt me, and I lost some weight and couldn't eat and drink. And then, who knows? But when I came home in December, I really battled with the temptation of my old diet, and I started cheating, and I fell off the wagon, and, caught myself having burgers and fries again and a pizza, and just really dealing with the emotional side of it. I didn't realize how strong my food addiction was. And so I'm sure that contributed then to the fluid problem. The fluid was there from the beginning, but it just wasn't enough to cause any problems. Well, then in December, it started causing problems. And by December the 10th, I had 4.5 liters built up in my lungs and I couldn't breathe. And I had to be rushed to the ER, and I spent 6 days in the hospital. And anyway, then it started building up in my stomach, and the whole month of December was scary. I had another trip to the ER one time in the middle of the night, and I couldn't breathe, and my stomach was all bloated, and my wife thought I was going to die. It was bad. In fact, if you read her last blog, get a Kleenex box, because, man, it's even some of our friends read it and said, wow, we didn't realize it was that bad during that time. So then we decided we got to go back to Mexico. I've got to have 24/7 care. And we started getting nervous and felt like we needed another treatment to try to kill the cancer faster. So we found out about this treatment called PNC 27. And we went back to Mexico and we did the PNC 27. And the first 3 weeks of January, I was basically bedridden. And I had this fluid problem and I couldn't eat or drink and I was weak. And so they had to put me on all these nutritional IVs and stuff in order to get any nutrients or anything into my body. But I think all that probably contributed to the fluid problem as well. So towards the end of the time in Mexico in January, I read a book called The Bliss about cancer, and it ultimately led me to giving this raw vegan idea a shot and seeing if I just basically went to fruit only, if I could solve the fluid problem. So I called a timeout. I stopped all the treatments and all the therapies, got off all the supplements, and said, let me just go back to the basics for a minute, and then we'll work towards, getting back on some things. I got my stomach drained on a Wednesday, my lungs drained on a Thursday, and I just started intaking fruit only. And 3 days went by and the fluid hadn't built up. And I thought, well, never made it 3 days before. It always built right back up in a day or two, and then 4, and then 5. Then we decided to come home. And I've lost track now. We're on day, I don't know, 31 or 32. And as long as I eat a full raw vegan diet and stay pretty true to the fruit only and the juicing and do the enemas, no fluid buildup in the stomach, and it's pretty much stopped in my lungs. As I said earlier, I was draining 5 liters a week out of my stomach. I was draining 2 to 4 liters a week out of my left lung and 1 liter a day out of my right lung. And I have not had to drain my stomach or my left lung in over 30 days. And I just drained my right lung, and it had been 10 days, and we could only get a half a liter out. So it's hardly building up at all. So that has allowed me now to walk. I can do, minimal exercises, get on the rebounder a little bit. Even though I'm, 128 pounds at 6 feet tall, pretty skinny. I don't have a tremendous amount of strength, but I can drive. I can go to my son's basketball games. I at least have a quality of life, and you can still see the swollen lymph nodes on my neck, and you can still see the swollen lymph nodes in my groin. So I don't see the point to go have a scan and expose myself to any radiation as long as those are visible. Once those are no longer visible, then it would make sense to go get a scan. So I do believe that, and then I take like a B12 shot, and my wife could tell you there's a few supplements that, there's a few areas I'm deficient in, and I've added a few supplements back. I took a little break from them. I was just so overwhelmed with taking 50 supplements a day and all these IVs and treatments. I mean, we didn't even know what was working and what wasn't. So I kind of went back to the basics, and then I'm slowly being cautious about what I add back and what I believe is really critical and what I've learned and what are the areas I'm really deficient in, instead of just, take this, add this, this works. You can just, before you know it, you can be doing so many things you don't even know. They might even be counteractive to helping you. Here's the bottom line. If I stay the course, I think in a year or two, I can eradicate the cancer and reverse it and become disease-free just through my diet. It's a really long road. And so I can't go into any details. I cannot tell you where I'm going. I cannot give you the name of the clinic. I can do it only privately. If someone has cancer or someone wants to donate, I want to be very, very considerate. I don't think people understand that when someone is literally curing people of cancer and has developed something that is real and I've talked to people who have been to this place and they have the test to prove it, that it's gone, they've been cured. You can't let mainstream know about it. These people will get killed. I know a lot of people think, no, it's for real. But I'm about to travel around the world. I've become convinced after 2 people I know, some dear friends of ours are there right now, and they have both been completely cured of stage 4 cancer, and I believe I'm going to be cured as well. I've talked to the guy who invented the stuff. He's cured 57 people in the last 6 years. Every one of them's alive. None of them have ever come back. They have a lifetime guarantee. If you ever get cancer again, they'll treat you for free. I mean, it's the real deal. And it's going to cost about $42,000 to go. And we're going to be leaving in the next 7 to 10 days. And we'll be gone for 3 weeks. And we just feel like we have nothing to lose. It can't hurt me. And if you were in my shoes and my boat and you thought you could be completely cured of cancer and you became convinced, why wouldn't you do whatever it takes to go do that? It's not that I gave up on the diet. It's not that I won't continue to come back home and still eat healthy. I'm a believer in all that. But that's a long road. And if I can shortcut that and I can get better and get this out of my body right now, then by God, I'm going to do it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does that kind of give you a timeline? I hope that kind of brought people up to speed.
I'm sure there's some people out there that want to know, like what you said, apples. You do apple juice. What kind of fruits are you doing? What kind of juices?
Yeah, I have really stuck to the ones that digest the easiest because with the fluid problem if you read about fruit is designed to help the lymphatic system. So I eat a lot of watermelon, a lot of oranges. They're very juicy and watery. They keep you very hydrated. And then I mix in a little bit of pineapple. I don't eat too much pineapple because it can be so detoxing. Ooh, man, it can really flush you out fast. And sometimes I almost can't handle how fast it wants to get all the junk out. And then I like to make a couple of smoothies, and they're just simple. I mean, mangoes, strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, oranges, bananas. I eat some bananas. And I just then pour an organic apple juice or orange juice in with that, and that's my smoothie. And then I just prefer the fruit juices over the vegetable juices, and they serve me well, and I like the way they taste, and they're easy to make, so I switched to apple and orange, and it's working for me. But other people may want to continue doing, more of the Gerson juices or whatever, and that's great. This is what I'm doing, and it's working.
Well, in your situation with the congestion and the blockage and everything in the tissue, the fruit is the fastest.
It is.
It is
really
definitely
is.
the fastest.
Yeah.
Have you experimented with any herbs or anything?
No, not necessarily. I mean, like I said, I kind of went back to the basics, and then I'm real cautious about what I add and what I do. I always remain open, Gary, and I consider things, but no, not at this point. I haven't necessarily. No.
No, it was just a question because people are gonna be asking. They may ask us questions, and
Sure.
just kind of get a focus on where you're going.
Yeah, I'm not anti-herbs or anything, and I feel like there are some people who have really found some that have really helped them and benefited. So I think it's just kind of maybe a case-by-case study.
Yeah, and also back in the beginning of the conversation when you were talking about, you change your protocol every once in a while. It might be that protocol worked, but it only worked for a while. And then you have to change.
Correct. I don't regret anything I've done up to this point. I mean, my cancer has not spread. It's not larger. It's not worse. And I'm alive. So I definitely have to be grateful for everything I've done to this point. You could say it's all helped me on some level.
Are you able to speak about if you're going to be doing treatments or if it's going to be more food related as to what you're going to be doing
No,
next?
I'm going to be doing specific treatments over there. This guy's developed a 3-part treatment that cures people in 2 weeks.
Wow.
And I know that sounds too good to be true, and I've been skeptical for months, and if I hadn't had 2 people that I know specifically that went and did it, and then now I've Skyped with the guy. My wife's done the scientific research of how it works. She understands it. And then honestly, the other part that confirmed that I decided I was going to go, I have a friend who is a doctor at a hospital in Oklahoma City. He's been working with late-stage cancer patients for about 12 years, but he thinks alternatively, even though he works in a traditional setting. And he actually has called and talked to the guy at this place. He's done his research, and he verified everything, and he told me to go. And so that was kind of the final piece to the puzzle. I mean, I've got friends there. They've got proof that his wife's been cured. I've talked to the guy who went in January. He's got proof he's been cured, stage 4 lymphoma. My doctor friend is telling me to go. I feel in my gut I'm supposed to go. I don't see any downside. The treatments are all made out of natural products. There's no drugs, no poison. There's no side effects. And this is the first time anybody's looked me in the eye on a Skype call and said, I will cure you and I will give you a lifetime guarantee. And my cure builds an immunity just like chickenpox does. And I guarantee you that you'll never get cancer again. And if you do, I'll treat you for free the rest of your life.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Wow. That was
And the reason that you've never heard of me and I'm in the remote places of the world is because I don't want a bullet in my head. That's what he told us,
Yeah.
flat out.
Huh.
And they just asked that I never mention the name of the place or any specifics on any public forum or Facebook or out there. I can discuss it privately for those that are interested in possibly going themselves, but I just want to be respectful of that.
Oh, of course.
And you should be.
Yeah.
Yes. But there's many lives on the line.
There are. It's sad. It's sickening. I can't even believe that that's all real, but it is.
Did you start losing weight right off?
I started losing weight after I went to the dentist, Gary. That's the first time I started losing weight. Then when the fluid problem came about, I started losing more weight because I wasn't eating and drinking. And then I did lose even more weight when I switched to the raw vegan all fruit diet. And a lot of that is because it made me detox so much that I was losing a lot of weight from getting all the sludge and the junk out. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I do know what you're saying, yes.
And so I really can't, even the guy that we Skyped with where I'm getting ready to go, he told me, he said, you're not going to gain any weight until you get rid of the cancer or get rid of the sludge and all the junk in your body because your body can't absorb the nutrients. He goes, in fact, you're going to know immediately, well, obviously, if my nodes are no longer visible, I'll know I'm healed of the cancer when I'm there. But he goes, you're going to know within a matter of days that the cancer's gone because he goes, you're going to start gaining weight while you're here.
Wow.
In fact, my friend's wife, she's already gained 6 pounds in the first 2 weeks, and she was skinny as a rail, and she's gaining weight because her body's now absorbing the nutrients. So, I mean, it's just incredible.
That's just an insane time frame. That's just absolutely insane.
But if you were to Skype with the guy, and depending on how your brain works, once my wife understood what he's actually figured out and how it kills the virus and how these molecules go in and do what they do, it's like, oh, well, that kind of makes sense then why it can happen so quickly. Let me tell you a story. 7-year-old girl. This has happened in the last 2 months. 7-year-old girl, glioblastoma, in a hospital in the U.S., feeding tube, trach on 20 liters of oxygen, okay? Would not let her out of the hospital unless she was only at 2 liters of oxygen. They got her some of these nanoparticles into the hospital. The dad got him into the feeding tube from this place that I'm going. It killed so much cancer in 2 days. She was able to get off the 20 liters of oxygen. They got her out of the hospital and onto a plane the next day. And 2 weeks later, the cancer was gone. The trach was out. The feeding tube was out, and she was outside playing like a normal 7-year-old girl.
Wow.
And I could send you the video of her sitting next to her mom, and you could see it for yourself.
Wow. You know, because the body can't lie to you.
No.
If you give it what it needs, it'll correct itself. It doesn't have a choice. You don't give it what it needs, it'll get sick. You give it what it needs, and it'll get healthy.
Yeah, and I mean, Gary, when I come home, I'm still going to be a raw vegan.
Mm-hmm.
So even if for some reason this guy is wrong on the part about it, me being immune and I can never get it again, my attitude's not, well, shit, I'll just come home and eat whatever the hell I want. Why not feel better? Why not still feed my body the right things? So my opinion is, let me get rid of it, and then I'll do the right things from here on out.
You got to be the captain of your own ship.
That's right. Regardless of whether or not I think, it'll never come back again. You know what I'm saying?
Right, absolutely, yes. Yeah, we all have to do that. We all have to be the captain of our own ship.
Right. There's no reason to abuse my body just because I get arrogant about, oh, I'm immune to cancer now,
Yeah, boy, that is a real, I can see where that would be a real trip for some people.
Yeah, the chip guy admitted to me that that's been hard for him. He's having a hard time not just eating whatever he wants, because in the back of his mind, it's like, oh, I'm immune, So, I mean, I get it. And to each their own. I don't judge him. If he runs a pizza restaurant and he wants to do that, I mean, so be it. It's his life. You know what I mean? I mean, I just don't like some of the arrogance out there. I don't like the judgmental. I don't like this idea that, well, what I'm doing is so right. I'm so much better than you. It drives me crazy. That's one part of this whole group and atmosphere and industry and stuff that or people who think their protocol is so damn special and they did it exactly perfect. I mean, that attitude is just sickening to me. Have some mercy, have some grace, have some compassion. Don't be an arrogant prick. And listen, I want to say this. Not everybody finds their path to physical healing. Lots of people die, okay? They're not bad people. They're just as loved by God, just as magnificent. They just went to the next realm. And I'm sorry for those people that lost their loved ones here on planet Earth. But let's be careful not to judge people based on whether or not they physically made it past this disease, okay? I mean, that really gets under my skin as well, that we somehow categorize people. Don't elevate people too high. They're just humans. We're all trying hard. We're all doing the best we can. Let's applaud that. Let's show compassion and love ultimately, and let's not lessen someone's value based on a physical outcome.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, love is the ultimate vibration.
Yeah,
it is something that we need to forgive and just embrace the world, embrace everything.
I mean, let's look at how many people say they're so inspired by me and all this stuff. So if I didn't make it and I die, am I all of a sudden a loser? Is this whole journey a waste? You know what I mean? Like, I think about that sometimes. Like, I think some people in their mind have decided that the only way this can all be worth it is if the outcome's exactly what we all want it to be. Yes, that'll be great, but none of us are getting out of here alive. I mean,
that's right.
I hope my time's not anytime soon, but if it is, I'm at peace. And my wife said it last night. She goes, no matter whatever happens, we'll never have any regrets. We'll never say we wish we would have went. We'll never say we wish we would have tried. We'll never say we didn't do everything we knew to try to do to beat it. I don't think we can ask any more of ourselves than that.
No, but you're a teacher who's traveling the journey.
Thanks.
And what you are sharing, millions of people. But it's not so much about inspiration, it's more about hope that, people are watching and they're realizing that you're getting better, but you're having setbacks, and you're talking about the setbacks as well.
Yeah.
And that is the honest part that most people, well, I don't say most, but some people don't do that.
I mean, why not? I'm not afraid. I don't have anything I'll tell you my weaknesses. I'll tell you I cheated. I messed up. I don't care. I mean, what do you think less of me? I mean, you walk in my shoes,
Right.
I mean, there's 7.7 billion people on the planet. I'm one person. I mean, so one person has a an opinion that doesn't line up, I mean, who gives a shit, you know? I mean, at the end of the day, man, I just live by all you can do is all you can do, and all you can do is enough, you know? And if someone wants to question something, well, knock yourself out. You know, I guess you got the right to do that, but I have the right to not pay attention to it either.
You shouldn't.
And I just don't want to give someone some false idea. I'm a positive person, and I can make it all look great on Facebook if I want to, and I can give people a picture that's not 100% accurate, and I just don't think that's fair, you know? We've had the family member attack us and tell us how stupid we were for, you know, not doing chemo and radiation, you know what I mean? We've had the nasty messages about, you know, people saying we should never be asking for money, you know? We had to live with family for a period of time. We've dealt with it all, and we tried to share as much of that as possible because we want people to know it's real. You know, our kids have had breakdowns. Our kids have cried and struggled and had issues. Caroline's had panic attacks. You know, we've gotten into fights. I've gotten angry. You know what I'm saying? I mean, all that's happened. My dad got in a horrible car wreck and almost died 3 days after I went back to Mexico. Broke 4 bones, spent 3 weeks in the hospital, fractured his sternum. Oh, and he's doing all this right before he finds out he's got brain cancer for the 3rd time. My mom's got a husband and her oldest son with terminal brain cancer and terminal lymphoma at the same time. That's what my family's dealing with. And if you want to sit around and fucking criticize us for something, go ahead, knock yourself out, you know? We didn't ask for this. It's planet Earth, man. And if you don't think it sucks, you're an idiot. I mean, it sucks. It's hard. And we're doing the best we can. And that's enough.
That is enough.
It's enough. It's all that matters. It doesn't matter. No one can make all the right decisions. Hell, you don't even know what the right decision is till you make one. You know? But you can't sit around and do analysis paralysis and overanalyze things, and then you'll never do anything. You got to just do it, trust it, go for it, and if it doesn't work, well, don't beat yourself up and get up and try it again.
Yep.
You know, if there's one thing, I won't quit, I won't stop, and I won't give up until I'm not breathing anymore. So if there's a way, I'm going to find it. And if there's a thing I can do, I'm going to do it, you know? And along that path, I'm getting more and more disciplined, obviously. I mean, you try to go from a sad standard American diet to a raw fruitarian diet. I mean, food addiction is real, okay? You pass by Smashburger and try to say no. You try to not ever eat pizza again. I mean, holy crap. I mean, it is, people just, I don't think they understand how many changes I've had to make in every single area of my life and how radical they are when they were 35-year-old habits. They're not talking about some little thing. I mean, we're talking about, man, I mean, I've been woken up at 2:30 in the morning with like out of mind, freakish things going on with me thinking about all the food that I want to eat. I mean, I'm telling you, this stuff is weird, man. I mean, it's like you have to mentally detox because they have put so many addictive things in the stuff that I was eating that it is hard to break free from it all. I mean, I'm just telling you, it is not easy at all. And that's on top of just everything else you're dealing with. You know what I mean? I couldn't go to my son's basketball game for 2 months. You know, that was hard. I was the coach. So many things, you know, hadn't been to church in 5 months, missed that, you know, there's so many, I didn't drive for 2.5 months. I mean, how many 35-year-old people can't drive, you know? It was so amazing to drive again. Like, I just started driving like a week ago. It's like, oh my God, this is incredible. I felt like a 16-year-old kid again. I mean, you know? Oh, man.
Well,
Anyway,
and you're not just on your own. You have your family who are going to want to eat, kids, little kids. They
oh,
want to eat juices and stuff. They want to have the stuff Daddy used to have. So that in itself is just hard.
it
I'm sure.
is. Yeah, we do pretty well. We've really, kept it very clean at the house. We allow them to have what's called Ezekiel bread. So we make them sandwiches and toast, and then otherwise we let them have like vegan cheese, and that seems to satisfy them. But and then they do good. They drink smoothies and eat a lot of fruit. We're very clean at home. That way, when they're outside the home, we can just kind of be free and not worry so much because we just are not at a place where we can be concerned about what a family member's feeding them or what they're getting at school or over at someone else's house. We just can't focus on that right now. So they've done pretty well, and that way we've kept 98% of all the things that are not good and I couldn't have outside of the home, which then saves me from having those temptations and stuff. And that's been wonderful. And I'm just so grateful. My wife's pretty much on board. She's about 80% raw vegan at this point. And so she makes it easier as well because she's super on board and supportive, and she doesn't do anything to make it harder on me. So, yeah, but those are challenging things. I mean, my kids will say, why can't we have jelly? Why can't we have honey? Why can't we have frozen pizzas anymore at the house? I mean, they still ask. We have to address all that. There's emotional energy that you have to put into that. I mean, yeah, Angie, you nailed it. I mean, there's so many things that unless you had a camera going 24/7, people just aren't able to fully grasp unless you've lived this, every aspect of how this overtakes your life.
Right.
Speaking of cameras, I hear that you're having a video made, a movie.
Yeah, there's a gentleman that came out for a couple of days, and then we need to do better at getting the diary camera out a little bit more. We're going to take it with us and film what we can when we're over there. And we've done pretty good. My son was filming me driving the other day, and we filmed some at the raw vegan restaurant with the owner the other day. And the guys downloaded all my videos from my phone that I've done up to this point. And yeah, we're in the beginning stages of a documentary being done on me. It's cool. I'm grateful. Yeah, hopefully it all comes to fruition and will turn out and can be something that can be a blessing to other people. And we already have. It's amazing. I've got more people offering to help me write a book than I probably can imagine. I literally had somebody basically contact me today and tell me that they would basically write my book at no cost for me. So it'll all come about. I don't really, I mean, whatever happens, happens. If all that comes about effortlessly and in the right timing, I want to share it, but I don't need to write a book to validate anything, or I don't have to have a documentary to feel good about myself. If those things come about, then wonderful. And even if for some reason they fell through and they didn't, I don't want to be defined. I still want to just be Ryan Luelf. This doesn't have to define me for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? I want it to be something that I can be proud of, but I don't want it to be the only thing I'm known for either, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, of course it does. Yes, it's more of an extension to reach more people.
Correct.
To help them through their times.
Yes, I agree, Gary. That would be my heart on the matter.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what it is. That's what this video is. It's there are a lot of people in this situation, and there's a lot that are going to face this situation, and they have brain fog, and they have confusion, and they don't know where to turn or what to do, and they're just looking for a glimmer of hope and direction. And if that helps them step in that direction, that is extremely powerful in their life. If it can give them clarity and a little guidance, and they can feel their way through it, just like you're doing, and be able to, because I mean, basically you're sharing. Not everything's going to work, and if it isn't, get away from it. Move to something else. Don't regret it. Just and people need to hear that.
Yeah.
Well, and that is what is absolutely priceless, because you know that you've changed one person's life, and if you can do that over and over with just your story, I mean, who else can do that? You know, it's what you've lived, and there's so many people that are scared and don't want to talk about things. You know, Gary and I find that people don't want to talk about it, and when I started talking about stuff that, you know, normal people don't talk about, people were like, really? We can talk about that? It's like, oh my God, yeah, we have to. We have to in order to survive. Like, if somebody else is going through this and they need to know and understand why, then by all means, we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
I just listened to a video. The person had an issue in 2003 with cancer, and the internet wasn't there, and there was very little research that he could do to look for answers.
Right.
And he, I think it's Paul Bragg. You know Bragg's apple cider vinegar?
Okay. Yes.
Well, he had written a bunch of books, and his mom had some of those books, and those were basically his guide. But I mean, now you can go on and you can see what people are doing and hear their stories and feel the emotion, and it's so important that people can relate a little bit as they're going through that journey, which is not an easy one.
Well, I think it's about time to wrap her up, isn't it, Gary?
Yeah, I'm getting tired.
Yeah. So, well, thank you so much.
And Starbucks is calling me.
We will let you go enjoy your bathroom time. But we want to thank you so much for coming and just sharing with us what you have, what you've been through.
Thanks for having me, you know. I'm just being Ryan. You know, someone said, you're so special, you're so inspirational, you're so this. And I said, well, if being myself is all of that, then praise God, because I don't put on a fake or a show, or I don't rehearse anything. I really, I mean, ask my wife, ask people to know me. I mean, this is just me. This is just who I am. And that's neat. I'm flattered. I think it's wonderful that people feel that way, you know. But I think a lot of people would feel that way if more people felt the freedom to just be themselves and just to be authentic and to be free and to not have so many insecurities and apprehensions. And I'm always just, wow, you want to have me on? I think that's, yeah, I hope I can always feel that humility. No matter what I'm able to accomplish, no matter what amount of money I ever accumulate or status, or if I'm considered a stage 4 cancer, whatever. I about any of that stuff. I don't want to be under a title or I just want to be Ryan the rest of my life. Never want to forget where I came from, and I'm not any better than anybody else, but I'm not any worse than anybody else, you know? And I just want to share. And if someone can resonate from something that I share and it can bless them, great. And if they vehemently disagree and they do something different and that works for them, wow, I'm just as happy for them too. You know, that's what's so cool when you can live free and you don't have to be right and you don't have to be validated and you don't need someone to follow your advice to feel better about yourself. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, if your advice works for you, isn't that all that matters, you know? I mean, we get so hung up on, well, nobody else is listening to me. Well, why do we need anybody else to listen to us? If it's working for you and your life's better, I mean, woo, do the happy dance, baby.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Anyway, I really enjoyed meeting both of you on Skype. That's one of the joys of this journey. As much as it sucks, as I love meeting new people around the world, and I hope we can be friends for life. The only reason we wouldn't is if you two change your mind.
And I don't see that happening. Hopefully we can do an interview when you come back. Would you agree to that?
Yeah, I'll do it again. Yeah, I'll be back early early April. And I will be able to share some when I'm there and update some. It may not be like specific things, but you'll be getting an idea. And trust me, the day I've been confirmed that the lymph nodes are gone, I'm going to take before pictures, before weight, before
awesome.
measurements. You better believe I'm going to be broadcasting the good news. So stay tuned, and I will push the envelope on what they let me share. I promise.
Right. All right. Thank you, Ryan. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
And if anybody has any questions for you specifically, is there somewhere they can get in contact with you?
I mean, honestly, inboxing me on Facebook is, because even if you're not friends with me, I still get the inboxes. My Facebook profile is public. I'm maxed out on friends, but you can follow me, and then you can still inbox me. Then if we need to exchange phone numbers or emails, we can. And obviously, if anybody feels led and wants to donate, I literally have 4 ways set up. I literally have it set up where you can actually give money straight through Facebook on Facebook Messenger. I have my bank account tied there. It's probably the easiest way, and they don't take out any percentage or fees. I get 100%. I have PayPal set up, and if you send it as friends and family, I get 100% there. I have GoFundMe, which I do lose 8%, but that doesn't bother me because it's very convenient. So if that's what somebody wants to do, that's been a huge blessing. And then I have a fully tax deduction option where you can send a check to my church and you get a fully tax deductible donation, and then the church gives me 100% of the funds.
Wow.
And I can get anyone all that information. I just ask if you're sending a check to the church that you overnight it, because then it takes 5 to 7 days for them to process it through their bank and then get me the money. And since I'm on kind of a short time frame here for going, I just ask someone to overnight that if that's what they're doing. But no obligation, no expectations. But if someone doesn't know what to do with their extra money and is inspired by my story, or just feels compelled or wants to be a part of what's going on, I just want to make them aware that those options are all over my Facebook. You can't miss them, and if you can't find them, just inbox me, and I'll be happy to get it to you.
And your wife's blog?
Yeah, it's, let me tell you what the address is.
Do you have a YouTube channel also?
I do, yeah, Cancer Free Ryan. Why don't I just send you, Angie, can I just message you on Facebook these links and you can get them to Gary? That way it'll be easier than me trying to read them. I'll just send you the link and you guys can post the blog and the YouTube channel and that stuff, okay?
Excellent. That'd be excellent.
All right. Nice talking to you guys.
Nice talking to you.
Have a wonderful day. Thanks for
Have
having me on.
Great trip.
Yes.
Will do.
All right.
We can't wait to talk when you're back. All right, guys. That was awesome.
That was pretty intense.
Yes. But if anybody wants to get in contact with us, they will go to LivefoodDtox@gmail.com. And yeah.
And they can catch us on YouTube. I'll put a link in the description down below. And if people want to ask questions, they can go to. Did you already say that?
to our Gmail account, or on our Facebook, LivefoodDtox on Facebook. Either way.
Awesome.
We'll get them. So
awesome.
Thank you guys. I hope that helped. Gave you a little bit of an insight to Ryan and his story, and help you. I don't know, give you something. Give you, something piece that was missing for you. But
and there are people out there researching all the time looking for answers.
yes.
So, always nice to see your smile.
Yours as well.
And I will talk to you later.
Yes. Have a good day. Bye, guys.
See you later, everybody.
You got this. Bye.
Bye-bye.